Welcome back to RBD Block Challenge. I'm Cindy Cloward, and today we are working on block number 13. Lucky 13 is designed by Amanda Niederhauser, and it's called Round of Applause. Give yourself a round of applause if you've already made all 12 blocks and you're ready to work on block number 13. This is what it looks like in our confetti cottons, so bright and beautiful, and this is what it looks like in our batiks. So like always, download the pattern from the Riley Blake Designs website. Again, it's block number 13, Round of Applause. I've already got all my pieces cut out and labeled on my design board. And let's start on the first step. So the first step would be to mark your B and your C squares from corner to corner with a pencil. Now, if you got a Seam So Easy guide, you can skip this step, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my D rectangles and my C squares. And again, you're going to mark all of these. And I'm just going to make 2 because I do have some step outs for you. So we can save time watching this video. But you're going to go through all 8 of these rectangles, making them the exact same way. So we'll just make 2 right now. Now, you're marked corner to corner, and that's going to be your sew line. Now, I always recommend to go just like a thread or 2 to the outside, so you don't have part of that, your stitches taking up in the fold. But if you have a Seam So Easy guide, line up your corner here with this middle line here, and we're just gonna sew on that diagonal. And if you chain piece all together, you're gonna have all of your 8 pieces chained just like that. So we're gonna bring it back here. Just flip it open. Make sure it's going in the direction you want it to. And then we're going to trim it down to 1/4 inch from your stitches. Okay, now I'm going to take it to my pressing station. I'm going to flip them open, press them open, and you're going to give them a good press. Again, you're going to have all 8 pieces. Okay, so we've got those done, and we're going to repeat putting this marked square on the other side. If you have it marked, you're going to put your line from this corner to this corner. Now again, that's going to be your stitch line. And you can put a pin in it. Bring it back here. Just kind of give it a quick check. Looking good. Let's trim down using our 1/4 inch plus ruler. And let's press this open. Just kind of heat up my stitches. And open that up. All right, this is what they look like. And now this is another step that's very important, is to just kind of check your tip, and that's what's so nice about this 1/4 inch plus ruler, is you can kind of line that up from the tip to here. We want 1/4 inch. Anything outside of that blue line, we're going to trim. Because what we want to see is we're going to make this unit right here See how those tips come together? And you don't want any extra fabric on the top, and even a little bit makes a difference, so your tips might not line up. So we're going to line that up there. So my tip is I highly recommend that you make sure you have a perfect 1/4 inch from right here to the top. Okay, I do have some step outs because this is what the next step we're doing is we're wanting that to line up like that. So I've made these previous ones. We're just going to make one of these on camera. And this is my tip, how to line up your points. You're going to put them right sides together. You're going to take a pin and put it at the very top right here, right like that. And then you're going to line it up to the very top point on the other little unit there, and you're going to pull it together. And you're going to make sure it's not up or down, because that moves the fabric up or down. We're going to make sure it's in that neutral spot, so they're at the same spot like that, okay? And then you're going to just hold the sides, pull it out like this, kind of pinch that bulky center, and then you're going to put a pin on each side close to that point, leaving that point kind of neutral there so it doesn't shift. There. And then I kind of pull that pin out, and that's secure. Now you're going to take it to your machine. I do a scant 1/4 inch, but you want your stitches right at that point. Your stitches should be at the same on both sides since we've done this, and you're going to just stitch across a scant 1/4 inch. Okay, let's take a look and open it up. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see these points almost kissing each other, and they're at the perfect angle. And I'm not going to press it this time. Some people would choose to open up your seam right here because there's a lot of bulk. You're welcome to open up this seam right there. I always flip my seams to one side or the other, and I'm going to decide which way I'm going to flip it when I assemble the rest of my block. So these units are finished. I kind of skipped ahead because I like to finish these 4 units all at once. So these are done and ready to go. The next thing that we need to do is grab our E, F, H, and G squares, and we only need to these are all extra. I'm going to put those away. We need to grab our B squares, and if you've already marked all your squares, these should be marked corner to corner. And we're just marking them, just putting the squares on one corner. They'll be flipped different directions, but they're only put on one corner. So you're going to put your marked square from this corner to this corner, and then we're going to sew these all at once. Maybe just go a skosh a little bit to the outside and just chain piece all of these units. All right, let's clip our threads in between. And then we just need to trim down to 1/4 inch. Okay, let's take these to the pressing station. And again, it's that flip and turn method. We're gonna flip open this unit like this. And I'm going to give you some pressing instructions if you like to nest your seams. For the white and, for the blue square and for the pink square, I'm gonna have you press to the white. And that's gonna allow you to nest those seams better later. So those two are gonna be pressed to the white, and these two are gonna be pressed to the dark or to the color side. So so that's gonna be pressed to the green, and then this is gonna be pressed to the yellow. All right, let's bring all these units back here. I'm gonna grab a design board and let's line these up. And we've got just a little 4 patch to assemble together. And this is where our seams will click into place because we have pressed them different directions. So those nest beautifully. So I'm going to put a pin there, just there, a pin there. And then we'll pin that right there as well. Gonna put a pin up top. Let's open that up. That's just what we want to see, that beautiful point right here. It's the same on both sides. And let's just press them opposite. Now these intersections right here should click into place. So I'm going to put a pin here. I'm going to put a pin here. And then I'm going to just flip those seams opposite. And it seems like it wants to go that direction. So the blue side flips over on the green side and opposite there. So we'll just pin those, nest those seams into place like that. And let's sew that center seam. All right, let's take this to our pressing station. Let's press from the back side. Oh, let's get that right there. And then let's open it up. Okay, and that looks great. All of our points line up here, so we have a beautiful white square in the center, and everything's nesting so well, so we don't have a lot of bulk when we lay it down. It lays flat. So let's bring this over here, and we're ready to start assembling our quilt block. These are extras. So look at the pattern. The green is up in this corner, and then we've got all of our units that we've already made, and we're going to lay them out. like that. We've got our little A squares that are going in the corners. And we're gonna just sew down the side. So I'm gonna grab my bird pins here. We're gonna sew down this side, and this is where we're gonna line up. Now pay attention to where this seam is flipped, and I'm going to just flip this top seam over the opposite direction so I can nest that seam right there. You know, there's a little bit of bulk, but that doesn't bother me. I would rather flip my seams than open them, so you can choose if you'd like to open up your seams there, if that bothers you. Okay, let's take it over to our machine, and let's sew down the sides of all these units. I am doing, again, a scant 1/4 inch. All right. I'm choosing not to clip my threads in between, so we'll keep them all together. I'm gonna flip that over there. This over here. That A square over here. Turn my design board, and I'm gonna stitch down this other side. I just add a few more pins when I'm doing this, paying attention to that middle seam and flipping it opposite. And then if it's a little bit short, just give it a little tug, line that up. Because if you cut accurately, sew on accurately, it should be close, so you can give it a little tug if it's not. We're not perfect when we stitch, that's why we pull things, get everything in the right size, but let's take it to the machine and sew. All right, let's take it back here, open it up. It's looking great. We just have to do 2 more seams. So we're gonna flip the top over here, and I'm first gonna pin that center seam. We pressed it that direction, so I'm gonna press this opposite. And now we're gonna open up that seam. So let's see, which direction does it wanna go? Underneath it wants to flip that direction, so I'm gonna flip this opposite. All right, let's just pin that last seam. And then let's take it to our sewing machine and sew our last 2 seams. Okay, let's take it over to our pressing station. Again, I'm gonna give it a little mist. press from the back side on both sides before I open it up. Okay, let's open it up. Let's see, that wants to go that direction. And since there's a lot of bulk in these intersections, you can just spend a little more time pressing, making that nice and flat. This is what we want to see. We want to see those points coming together, all these nice points, and a nice flat block. So we'll bring it over here and we'll just check it, see if we need to trim it up at all. We'll just take some off the top. And block number 13 is finished. Give yourself a round of applause if you are well on your way to finishing block number 13. And thank you so much for joining us on this challenge. I can't wait to see what Amanda does with her own block and her fabrics. So join me next time for block number 14. It's by Melissa Mortensen and it's called Give It a Whirl.